Hello guys. Okay, so this is a message that I've actually channeled from earlier today that I thought was really important to share with you guys. I hope you guys can see me. I know the lighting is kind of weird right now, the sun is behind me. It was 11:11 when I sat down to film this message, or when I wanted to come and sit down to film this message. So if that's synchronistic to anybody, then that was for you. So the message I was channeling from earlier, and it came through really strongly, is the fact that if you're having a hard time right now, it's not because there's a presence of darkness. It's because there's an absence of light. And that came through super, super strongly. And I feel like if you're going through anything right now, any hard time, if someone is treating you badly, if you're feeling super sick right now, if your finances have taken a dip, if like anything is going wrong, if you're trying to fill out paperwork, if there's like legal stuff going on and it's just not working out for you right now and you're coming to a load of blocks, it's not because there's a presence of darkness, it's because there's an absence of light. Okay, so what does that look like when there's an absence of light? Light comes from internally within you. Light is something that you create that gets projected into the external. So as within, so without, right? So your external world is a reflection of your internal world. So when you're struggling externally and you're coming up to a load of these blocks, it's because something internally within you is unbalanced and you're unwilling to see the parts of yourself that need to be looked at. So a lot of that is doing shadow work. A lot of that is sitting with yourself and looking at the parts of yourself that do not have light shed onto them at that point in time. Okay, so you guys are being called to sit in a meditation, sit with yourself, look internally within your being, look at your inner self. You know the way Eckhart Tolle talks about the being the observer and the watcher? Be the watcher of your own internal being right now. Sit with yourself, make a cup of tea, take your journal out, put on some Hertz music in the background, and just sit with yourself. Because right now, there's a part of you internally within yourself, I'm hearing, that feels lonely, that you feel like you're alone, you feel like you're all by yourself. And that's the darkness that's in your life right now. And it's not that you're being forced to be on your own, or that, that you're being held back from other people. Maybe you were for a time. If you went through a shadow period, the universe does have a way of isolating you from other people in order for you to do the healing work it takes to bring you to that next level. Your presence of light within yourself is actually you just asking for help. Right now, asking other people to be there for you and support you is what you deeply, truly need. I feel like you've been on your own for a really long time, and you were meant to be on your own. You were meant to go through a hermit stage. You were meant to be by yourself in order to alchemize. But now you've come out the other side. It's like you were this caterpillar that went into a chrysalis. And you were in this chrysalis for a really long time. And now you've come out of it, and you're this beautiful butterfly. And it's like you're looking around as if you're still a caterpillar, and you're still behaving like a caterpillar. You're still kind of crawling along on a leaf rather than actually using your wings. You need to use your own assets. And one of the assets that we have as human beings is unity and camaraderie. If you've been so used to being by yourself for such a long time, to the point where you believed that you were meant to be on your own, maybe you called yourself a lone wolf for a really long time, you're being called to shed that, because wolves are supposed to run in packs. And if you've been on your own, you're being called back to other people. I feel like you went through a shadow period of, how do I describe it? Of learning discernment, of learning boundaries, of learning who's on your side and who's not. Learning who wants to take advantage of you and who actually is there to support you. Maybe you had a lot of people in your past who didn't want to support you. Maybe they wanted to take from you and wanted you to support them, but they weren't willing to give you that in return. Maybe that you have a lot of blocks in trusting other people right now. That was a huge lesson that you had to learn, was to set those boundaries and have that discernment and learn to stand on your own 2 feet. We had a conversation about codependency issues a while back in a past video, so maybe take a look at that. But maybe a lot of you guys dealt with codependency and went into a healing period to resolve that within yourself. But now, as a result, you've come out hyper-independent, to the point where it's detrimental to your health, where whenever you go to do something and you try and move in the physical world, it's like these internal blocks come up, because you're trying to shift everything externally around you without that support that you need, without that help that you need. And it's time to take a step back from being so hyper independent and learn to be interdependent, because there's a difference between codependency and interdependency. Codependency is when you're so dependent on the other person that you can't function on your own, that if you were to step away from that other person, everything would crumble and you would fall apart. But interdependency is knowing that you can do it by yourself, but choosing not to because you don't have to. Choosing not to because you have enough love around yourself and you have enough love within yourself to know that you deserve better and you deserve more and you deserve to have an easy time in life. You deserve to sit in light. You deserve to be able to move through life without this heavy resistance on you all the time. And I feel like if you come up with a lot of resistance in your life and you feel like you've had a lot of blocks, it's all come from the fact that you haven't been able to depend, first of all, on yourself. Because maybe when you were codependent, you were expecting other people to be able to give you everything that you needed to give to yourself first. But now you've come out of that and you've grown from that and you're in the next phase and you're still trying to be this hyper independent version of yourself, and you don't need to be like that. The universe is calling you to love yourself deeper than you ever have before, and through that love you find your soul tribe. You find the people you're meant to be around. You find the people that you resonate with on such a deep, hearty, internal level where you see them and they see you, and you resonate on the same vibrational frequency to the point where you feel like you're one with them. You feel like that's who you're meant to be around. That's who you're meant to be with, to the point where there is no resistance. There's no external factor that's coming between you. And there's always going to be lessons when you're with other people. You're always going to be learning, but you don't have to learn lessons through pain. You don't have to learn lessons through hardship. You can learn lessons through love. And I feel like you've done enough internal work and you've done the hard, difficult shadow work to come to the point where you love yourself enough in order to be able to learn from love and to continue learning with love. You don't need to be in this difficult space where there's constantly resistance externally around you. Life gets to be easy. Life gets to be filled with light. And like I said at the beginning of the video, it's not the presence of darkness that's the issue, it's the absence of light, and that's why you feel stuck. And your ticket to moving forwards is inviting more light into your life. But that light starts with you first. It starts internally and you project it outwards. But that doesn't mean that you're starting internally on your own. Having that light creates light around you, and that draws people to you. And then you can be drawn to them because they're also shining that same light. You have to find people that are sitting on the same loving resonance and frequency as you. Because if you try and go to a person who's sitting still in their darkness and they're still in that pain, you're not going to resonate, and they will pull you back and pull you down. And it's not that they're doing it intentionally to hurt you or to cause you pain. It's just because they don't know any better. It's time for you to step into your power. It's time for you to step into that light, because that light is your power. That purity, that innocence, that beauty that you have internally within you, that's what you need right now. And that's what's going to draw that soul family towards you. You're not meant to be on your own. You're never meant to be on your own. Us as human beings, we are pack animals. We are creatures that need other human beings. Look at the way the tribes were back in the past. Never once in humanity has human beings ever naturally wanted to be on their own. Everyone has always moved in packs. And it's just a case of finding who you're meant to be with and who you're meant to stay with. And we'll go through different phases. You may not be meant to stay with a certain tribe your entire life. You could have different phases where you're supposed to be with this tribe for a time and you learn the lessons and you grow and evolve, and then you move on to the next tribe. People will fall out of your life and come back and be released, and then new people will come to you. And that's all part of the plan. But you have to allow people to be there for you and be there with you. That was your message for today, guys. I know it might be a little bit of a shorter one than the one we usually have. It's 11:11 on the clock again, on my timer. But that's what you needed to hear today. It's not the presence of darkness, it's the absence of light. So inviting more light within your life and inviting yourself to stand in more light and to stand in your own power will bring light around you, because you're meant to be in love. Hey guys, I'm back again. So I turned the camera off and immediately got the message from Spirit of, no, wait, hold on, there's more to say. So, sorry for the jump cut. Did you guys have an abandonment wound from childhood? Did you feel like super unsupported as a child? Maybe you had a lot of anxiety growing up because of this unsupportiveness. I'm being told that if you're having any difficulties right now, it's because the internal version of you that was abandoned as a child is calling out for help. And it's because your internal world is a reflection of your external world. That version of you that was felt unloved and felt like it was left behind, that is the version of you calling out to you now, you as an adult. You have become the version of yourself that would have protected your younger self. You are being called to give as much love as you possibly can to that younger version of yourself that felt abandoned. That's the wound you're healing right now. In you feeling alone, and you feeling like you need to be alone in order to protect yourself, that is that core wound of abandonment. If you're feeling like you can't be around other people, or you don't trust them, or you don't want to be with them, or you don't want to ask for help, that is because you were abandoned when you were younger. And take what resonates, okay? If this doesn't resonate, then that's okay, it's not for you. But it's like, if you're finding resistance in the external world right now when you're trying to push forwards, it's because that internal version of yourself that was left behind still feels like it's being left behind. You still feel like it's like you're abandoning yourself now. You don't have other people in your life that are abandoning you anymore. I feel like you've cleared that out. You've finished with that phase, but it's like you're still abandoning yourself because that's what you were taught as a child. You were taught to abandon yourself because you didn't know any better. And I feel like maybe the people around you didn't know any better either. Maybe this is like generational trauma that's been handed down. The reason you're having resistance in the external world right now is because of this internal part of yourself that still feels left behind. You have to go back to yourself, back to that internal version of yourself, back to the part of you that desperately needs that love that you've never got, and give that to yourself, because that's the thing that's going to push you forward into the next level. That's the thing that's going to clear the resistance. That's why that resistance is there. You need to go back to that past version of yourself. Sit in a meditation, journal with yourself. However you prefer to heal, sit with yourself. Sit with that younger version of yourself and pour into that version of you. Give them that love. That's so important right now. In order for you to clear that resistance, you're clearing karma, and it's big. You're clearing generational karma, and it's heavy and it's dense. But I feel like you've already done so much of that work that there's not that much left to clear. It's not as dense as it used to be, and I feel like you can feel that in yourself when you're doing your shadow work, when you're doing your healing work. You can feel how much work you've done. You can feel that it's not as difficult as it used to be to sit with yourself and sit with your emotions and sit with your thoughts and clear out those negative patterns, that like negative mental patterns. I feel like you've dealt with a lot in your life. Like you get stuck in your mind a lot, and I feel like you're finally coming to a point in your life where you're sitting with your body. You're sitting with your nervous system. There's something about clearing your nervous system out and retraining your nervous system in order to feel safe, in order to feel secure. Maybe you've been working on your root chakra a lot, your sacral chakra, your solar plexus, your bottom chakras. I feel like your heart chakra has always kind of been open. You've always had a beautiful heart. You've always had a strong heart. Maybe a lot of you guys resonate with like Mintakan star seeds or Palladians, even Syrians, if you guys are resonating with like the whole star seed thing. Crystal souls, I just heard crystal souls, indigo children. I feel like you guys have so much love and so much light within yourself that you need to now start bringing back and bringing out. Maybe it was squashed in the past, or maybe you suppressed it within yourself in order to be safe in the external environments that you were raised in. And you're being called to bring that out now. You need to be seen, you need to be heard. You need to hear yourself. You need to go back to a past version of yourself that you used to be and give yourself so much love that it would be impossible for you to suppress that again. I think that was the message that was supposed to come out today. You need to stop abandoning yourself. And you're doing such a good job. Like Spirit is confirming all the work that you're doing, they can see. Like it's working. That love you're giving yourself, it's working. Just a confirmation for anyone who needed to hear that. You're doing so well. And Spirit wants you to keep going with all this beautiful energy. that you're giving to yourself and giving to the world. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for incarnating on Earth and sharing your light with everybody. It's time for you to share that light with yourself and continue shining that out. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me. I love you guys so much. You have no idea how much I love you so much. I have so much in my heart that I want to share. That'll come out. I love you. Thank you so much. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye, guys.